There are four interviewing biases that can prevent you from objectively assessing the merits of your candidates and how well they may fit the competency model of the job for which they are applying. Probably the biggest pitfall of hiring is the tendency to view job applicants through one or more of the four personal biases. First, the halo effect. The halo effect is the tendency to make general conclusions, either positive or negative, based on limited information. For the young lady on the screen, "How about that ribbon?" is an example of how an interviewer might allow him or herself to be impressed based on a very limited amount of information. The fact that someone won a prize does not necessarily mean they will be able to perform a given job successfully. For instance, just because a person may have been on a championship team in high school, certainly an achievement, does not, however, mean that as an adult that person will be a good team player in an office environment. Next, we have first impressions, notorious in its presumed importance. A firm handshake, steady eye contact, and open body posture are impressive, but again, the ability to make a good first impression and establish instant rapport may be a critically important competency for a receptionist, a maitre d', or a salesperson. But if you are hiring someone to sit alone in a detention facility and pay attention to a video surveillance monitor overnight, it simply isn't important for the person you hire to be able to make a great first impression. A shy, withdrawn, but conscientious and reliable person might make what you consider a lousy first impression, but be a much better candidate for that job. Then there's the pitfall of hiring one in one's own image, a very common mistake. Why? Because we like them, and birds of a feather flock together. We like to be able to relate to others, to have things in common. This is an extremely common and debilitating mistake many new managers make. It is much more comfortable to be surrounded by people who see things the way you do than by a group of diverse perspectives, challenges, talents, backgrounds, and preferences. But it is precisely these differences that strengthen a team and enable innovation. Lastly, there is stereotyping. Stereotyping at its most insidious goes far beyond race or gender or other more popular viewpoints. Think back to when you were growing up. Think about the cliques that formed, the so-called socias, the jocks, the punks, or hippies, or nerds, or whomever. We all have opinions, but you can easily cheat yourself out of a good employee by either consciously or subconsciously judging a person according to an artificial image and the prejudice it creates. In conclusion, you will be a better interviewer if you can stay aware of your tendencies, keep an open mind, and avoid these four interviewing biases.